Alright everybody, so you want to upgrade your battery and your battery cables in your first gen Dodge, or second gen, or third gen, or 18th gen. So this is the battery that was in the truck when I picked it up. 650 cold cranking amps, 93 RC. It is junk. It's probably for a Honda Civic. This is what we're upgrading to. Now, I've had this battery for 2 years and it had gone flat dead. I've already pissed off every boomer in the world by keeping it on concrete. But it is 925 cold cranking amps, 1050 cranking amps at 32 or above, and 180 RC. The only major difference is this has got 3/8 top post that I bought wing nuts for. Now we're going to make new battery cables to fit that, because these cables, that's obviously not going to work. So this is the original ground off of my first gen. We're going to make a new ground cable, and I'm going to show you how, in case you don't know. That is not the original positive wire. That's off of a second gen that I had, and I just had it on my first gen because it worked. It was way too long, so we're not going to use that. Now I went and bought 4/0 welding cable, 10 feet of it. I cut it in 5-foot lengths. That's 40000 or 4/0. Now I'm upgrading because the original second gens had 3/0, I think. I'm pretty sure. And the second gens, for some reason, from second gen on, they all had 2/0, which doesn't make sense. But we're upgrading to 4. So what you're going to want to do, if you don't have a lovely assistant to hold your filming device, hold the end of the cable right there. And for whoever says that welding cable is wrong, that's basically what this is. This is pretty much welding cable. Hold it right there. Pull it alongside your original cable. And then as close as you can, match it with the crimp right there. You can give yourself a little bit of extra. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of extra. We're gonna mark it with a fingernail, and we're gonna cut right there. To cut it, I have one of these Harbor Freight cable cutters. It's not quite big enough. I need a bigger pair, but it'll do for now. It'll do the job. Then I just set it on the ground here. Just give her a good old push. Here we go. Bada bing. It ain't pretty, but it works. With your excess, keep that, because sometimes you can go to the top of your block to your firewall with that. Alright, next step. Get your lug. This, supposedly, I ordered this from McMaster-Carr. Supposedly this is for battery cable. We will find out. But you're going to want to get yourself a sharp knife. Preferably a razor. Sharp knife cuts the quickest, hurts the least, in case you slip. Now, what we're going to do, take our lug, take the end of our cable. Focus, take the end of our cable. And we're going to go just a little bit past. See here where it starts getting flat? Just a little bit past that. Right about there. Now to mark this, I just use the crimp. It'll work. It'll let you see what you're doing. Then we get our razor, we cut around the cable, cut a slit in the cable, and pull that outer jacket off. I'll bring you guys right back. Alright, this is what I got. Notice the wires hanging out. Don't worry, we'll clip them off. And this was a pain in the ass. I'm not a big fan of these crimps, these lugs. The fluted copper ones are a whole lot better to deal with. But good luck finding them local. You probably have to go on Amazon or somewhere online that deals in battery cables. There's companies out there online that you can just give them the length, the color, and the lugs you want, and they'll make it pretty and ship it right to you. But I'm not really into that. I like doing my own thing. If this doesn't work and it fails epically, then we'll go that route. But I'll bring you right back and show you what we're going to do next. So on the Amazon, I've bought this Timco Industrial wire crimper, wire lug crimper. It was pretty cheap. It was well worth the money. It's got almost every die under the sun. I've already loaded it up with a 4-aught, and we're going to crimp our lug. All right, here's the end result. So you're going to want to twist and pull and tug on that. Make sure you got a good crimp. But what I do, shove her in there and tighten that up till you got a little bit of pressure. Then you can turn your knob tight and start cranking on it. Don't force it when it gets hard to push, or else you'll blow them seals right out. This kit does come with new seals, but I don't want to reseal it. I would love an air one or one for a hydraulic press, but this works. So now we're going to cut those off. And we got a little bit of space between the outer jacket here and the lug, but that'll be all right. Get your heat shrink. I bought a 10-foot roll of, I think it was 1/2 inch, but I cut it in 4-inch piece. Go all the way down to the flat of the lug and just a little bit past it, because when it shrinks, it'll draw itself back. Just a little past it. And you can use a torch, you can use a lighter, it'll probably take a while with a lighter. You can use a heat gun. I think I'm going to try a heat gun. And there you go. It did come back just a little bit, not a whole lot. 4 inches, a little too much. Could have probably got away with 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches, maybe 2 inches. But now we're going to do the other end, or at least I'm going to do the other end. Word of advice though, make this cable up one end how you want it. Go to the vehicle. On your other end, make sure you can clock the lug just right and then mark it, because you might not be able to bend that cable the way you need to get the lug on the other end. All right, we got both ends crimped. Word of advice, before you make your final crimp, put your heat shrink on. This is big enough it'll go over, so I don't have to worry about it. But on some of them smaller cables, some of them little wires that you're going to put shrink on, make sure you put your shrink on before you put your crimp on. Especially if it's a butt splice and you're crimping a butt slice and putting heat shrink on it, make sure you put your heat shrink on before you even make your strips to put into your lugs. Just a word of advice. There you have it, a finished cable. But I'm going to take this one step further. I'm going to show you guys what we're doing. Bought some of this fancy stuff from our buddies at McMaster-Carr. Got 10 feet of it for $3.50, I think. I know what you're thinking. It'll never fit. But it will. This is not required. This would work perfectly fine. You could put it in service right now as is, but I want to go a little step extra for some flash. Well, there you go. Finished product. Doesn't look too bad. Did learn a thing here. When you cut your tailing end here, just wrap it with some electrical tape. Cut it a little bit shorter than you think you need it, because it'll stretch. Here we go. From a bare black welding cable to 2 battery cables with the right color wire sheathing. This stuff's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm going to have to figure out how to work with it a little bit better, especially cutting it. Yeah, you put one end on, you heat shrink it on there, and then you loop it around there and get it as tight as you want, and then the end that you got to cut, I don't know, I'm not doing something right, because it ends up like that. You're using heat shrink to hide all that. I don't know if a hot knife or, yeah, just cut it to the right length first. That's probably where it should go, but give yourself an extra inch. I don't know. If you know better, let me know.